What is up, Earthnoids and Spacenoids? I am just a simple Newtype, and in this episode we are finally diving into Hathaway's Flash, the Sorcery of Nymph Circe. Nope, I hate it. Circe no Majo, so the title should be Witch of Circe. I guess they didn't want another thing with witch in the name, and yeah, maybe stop that. Last time Hathaway met Gigi and Kenneth during the Houndsend hijacking. Galman was taken as prisoner, but Hathaway got him free and they escaped from the clutches of Aim Lame and Penelope. This time Gigi moves to Hong Kong and realizes she needs to be with Hathaway. Mafty meets with the Owenbelly forces, aka the fake Mafty, and they join together. And Mafty and the Circe team converge on Alice Springs. I'll try to keep spoilers towards the end, but I keep no promises. So let's get into this. Later in the story, we learn that Owenbelly sent a video to a Spacenoid news organization to get the word out of the Federation's inhumane practices towards their people. This movie starts with that video footage. The Owenbelly forces are getting slaughtered, and the waters are an EFF sub monitoring the Valiant, Mafty's ship. They're being tailed. We meet Captain Brink's Wedge. He is more or less the same laid-back character that we see in the book. Unlike the novel, he has a cat named Fortune that has been put in this movie just to show how fortunate he is. Oh. Emeralda, who unfortunately only speaks once in this movie, is now using Hathaway's old messer. With the Valiant is the Sea Rat, which is also a Mafty vessel and disguised as a cargo vessel. Mafty knows the Owenbelly forces are the fake Mafty from the Houndsend flight. They wonder what they should do about them and ultimately decide to work with them after some pondering. When Hathaway is alone, he talks to Quest. The Circe unit moves in on Ladoichia, but it is empty. Kenneth meets with Yoksum. He hates how much he has essentially become security for the rich. This is expected because this is what Kimberly did. Also, Yoksum functions as an FBI-like agent, but he is very much under the Manhunter umbrella. We learned from Bandy Sine that the CIA is also under the Manhunters in Universal Century, so they have a huge reach. Penelope is out of commission after its fight with Kasai. Kasi? It doesn't matter, I'm calling it Kusi in this video so I can make a grab him by the Kusi joke later. For now, Lane Aim is using his old test unit. Kenneth does a bright slap on Lane Aim after failing his last mission. He doesn't understand the motives of adults. Gotta give the adults don't understand speech to someone else. Hathaway already did it and shows counterattack. Hathaway and Kalia Dace are distant since the last mission. Talk is spreading throughout Mafty about Hathaway and Gigi making things worse. Golf calls Gigi a bimbo. Intel suggests that the Feddies are moving their meeting from Adelaide to Guangzhou. But Hathaway knows it will remain in Adelaide. Kalia decides to cut her hair. She and Hathaway finally have a talk about Gigi. He says he did what he had to do for the mission, but Kalia knows there is something there between the two. In this movie, it very much seems like Kalia and Hathaway are still dating, but in the novel they have grown apart even though they love each other. Julia Suga flaunts her tits in front of Hathaway. Tamina wrote that Julia flaunts her tits? We must put that in the movie, dammit. Respect for Tomino accuracy. Mafty launches. This SZA intro is very much trying to do a Bond intro. Kalia thinks Gigi can cure Hathaway of Quest. Mafty heads to Owenbelly where they see a slaughterhouse. They find 30 people that were torched. One woman is still alive, but it doesn't last long. The Owenbelly forces have former Commander Kimberly captive. Gigi stays at a place arranged by Kenneth. In the novel, this place is called Göttingen House. She eventually bids farewell to Kenneth and heads to Hong Kong. As Gigi leaves, Mace Flower, the flight attendant from the Houndsend flight, visits Kenneth. Nice. When in Hong Kong, Gigi gets a montage of her designing her new house, which is better than the book where Tomino goes on about wallpaper and drapes. She thinks of Count Bound in Wooden. He is okay with a life of loneliness if it means one night with her. She feels bad for what she is about to do. Yes, this is all happening in the bath. And no, you don't get to see Gigi's tits. -1 for Tomino inaccuracy. Meanwhile, Kenneth and Mace hook up. Gigi contacts Professor Amada, who is intercepting communication for Hathaway. In the novel, this is an elaborate code to let Hathaway know Gigi is heading to Australia. But in the movie, she essentially says, I'm heading to Australia and Hathaway just has to deal with it. Gigi watches the Manhunters on the news. She switches the channel, and no joke, Conan O'Brien is on the TV. Who's the artist who had to draw Conan O'Brien? She apologizes for having to bail on the Count for her boy toys. You could tell that Gigi actually loves the Count. Hathaway is informed of Gigi's message. Gigi heads back to Davao to meet with Kenneth. And then we get the Mace Flowers scene. While waiting for Kenneth, Gigi runs into Mace. The two are catty with one another before Gigi whispers something in Mace's ear. This causes Mace to slap her. Now in the movie, we don't hear what she said. But in the novel, Tomino doesn't hold back. Gigi says to Mace, the captain must be great in the sack, huh? I bet he even asked you for oral and anal, didn't he? Tomino, you have such a way with words. This is all to get Mace out of the picture. Mafty decides to use the Owenbelly forces to attack Guangzhou to make it seem like they are falling for the bait. Meanwhile, Kalia leaves Mafty. She doesn't tell Hathaway, but Julia tells him. We flash back to when Kalia and Hathaway were in love. They hint at her being an illegal immigrant, but they don't mention the scene where the manhunter sexually and physically abused her like in the novel. It's probably for the best. Hathaway chases after her. In the novel, he does absolutely nothing and fully regrets it. If this follows the novel, this will be the last time the two see each other. While departing for Adelaide, Mafty preemptively attacks. Kenneth and his team are barely able to escape, and they blame their fortune on Gigi. She is their good luck charm. Also, can we talk about how there are so many cool supplementary vehicles in this movie, but there's no data on them? The Circe team is clearly using an updated version of the C-88 Medea. I want to know more about that. Also, later, Bright drives an Ella car that is literally Nolan's Batmobile. Yoksam is helping cover up the Own Belly massacre. He thinks to himself, you know, Bright is good at this stuff. Let's get him to help. Mafty scouts to find that Hendrix, Hala, and Rod's Messers are down. Luckily, Hendrix is alive. While the Messers and the Gundam went out, the Feddies made their move and destroyed the Valiant. Hendrix saves the cat Fortune for maximum sadness about the captain and the crew. Hathaway once again talks to Quest. He recognizes the rage inside of him. Mafty heads to Alice Springs. Gigi senses that this is where Hathaway is heading and tries to arrange a trip out there. Bright is summoned to Earth. Mirai is happy that he may be able to see Hathaway. This is the extent of their scene. They do cancel looking at a place. They elaborate on this in the book. Bright and Mirai are trying to find a place so they could run a cafe once Bright retires. Bright, the Federation is never going to let you retire. Lane heads out towards Alice Springs. He is using Elysius. The TX-104 Elysius is a hastily developed trainer for Penelope Gundam. This is essentially a prototype Penelope and was used for its development. It functions best in its flight form. At the core of this unit is a mass production new Gundam. The most unique feature of this unit are the shelf nozzles, which become a standard in late Universal Century. This is used instead of the Minovsky Craft system. Weapons include a prototype beam rifle, 34 funnel missiles, a beam cannon/beam saber, a sub-arm with a beam saber, a 90mm Gatling gun in the arm, 90mm chest Vulcans, and a pair of 60mm Vulcan guns. This and the mass production new Gundam are in the novel. And this final battle is with Penelope. But you can't make a new Gundam product without making a new GUNPLA to go along with it. Come on now. Mafty engages with Gustav Karls. The way they animate the Kussi's Minovsky Craft system is beautiful, and you see the difference in mobility between the Gundam and Gustav Karls. Hathaway finally engages with AIM once again. While fighting, an AA gun on the ground hits Elysius. He dumps his flight pack, leaving the core unit, the mass production new Gundam. The RX-94 mass production type new Gundam is a limited run mass produced version of new Gundam, despite its name. This was originally designed to fight against the Yag Doga. It retains the psycho frame to utilize fin funnels. Old types can't use fin funnels and instead opt for the Incom system. The armor is weaker than new Gundam, but is considered good enough at this reduction. This version is modified to attach Elysius, and the legs are modified as well. It also has a Gatling gun in the left arm and a beam saber in the right. Other weapons include 60mm Vulcans, another beam saber, new Gundam's beam rifle, Penelope's beam rifle, a shield, a beam spray gun, a hyper bazooka, and a sub-arm with a beam saber. This also utilizes shelf nozzles. Lane tries to grab Hathaway by the cussie. You know, this joke didn't bring me as much happiness as I thought. Seeing new Gundam triggers a flashback to Char's counterattack. Oh hey, Astronaut Corpse makes an appearance in this movie, neat! We see the rage inside grow as Hathaway kills Chan. During the novel, you see Hathaway slowly move away from Amado and closer to Char's ideals. But in this movie, Amado's Newtype ghost shows up and says, hey, you're turning to the dark side. This enrages Hathaway more and he begins to fight Lane, thinking he is Amado. The rage grows. Lane thinks that he is crazy. Hathaway embraces the rage and tries to melt Lane in the cockpit. New Gundam tries to use its sub-arm, but it is puny and ineffective. Before Lane melts, Hathaway hears Gigi on the comms. She says that he should take her prisoner instead of killing Lane. The weird clock gift that Kenneth said was tacky in the first movie is still in Gigi's possession, which shows how much she cares about him. Gigi kisses Hathaway. Cue the Guns N' Roses after the credits. This leads us into the after-credits scene, which will take us into spoilers. The mid-credits scene once again shows Kenneth frustrated for losing to Mafty once again. He looks out at what looks like a bunch of power lines. If you haven't read the novel, this is called the Minovsky Barrier. This thing is huge and it will be a tool that will take down Hathaway. On the surface, it just seems like a barrier. But if you read between the lines, this is the eye-field tech that will eventually be miniaturized and turned into the Minovsky drive system and it will be used in ships like the Mother Vanguard, which can travel between Earth and Jupiter in less than 2 weeks. It's huge now, but in 30 years, it will be miniaturized. The Minovsky Cross system was once the size of the Albion, and now the size of a Gundam. It just takes time. The second post-credit scene is the Kusi's face crumbling, revealing the Gundam face, which was shown in the trailers, so why show it in the post-credit scene? Rude. Remember, Anaheim Electronics made this Gundam, and they don't want anyone to know they are helping Mafty. This movie shows us a turning point in Mafty, and it doesn't get better for them, unfortunately. In Volume 3, the relationship between Hathaway and Gigi isn't as strong as once thought. The cabinet members converge on Adelaide, and Hathaway has his final battle with Lane Aim. Mafty's fate is looking grim. I am surprised at how engaging this movie was. No matter how much you love Gundam, this is a middle story, and most of the book is discussing battle tactics. But it was really engaging considering it's his second movie in a trilogy. But that will do it for this video. Let me know if you saw the movie, and let me know what you think. But that will do it for now, Newtypes. Remember, be sure to say goodbye. You might not have another chance. Hathaway, peace.